What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So I want to address a bunch of things that are currently happening. There's a lot of good things happening right now. There's a lot of big things that are actually taking place. First, we know stimulus checks are going out. That's a good thing. We are seeing this happen very quickly in some cases, which is great. Others have to wait a little bit longer, which isn't so great, but at least we know the stimulus checks are coming. Vaccines are helping keep people from getting the virus. We know that there are studies that do prove that, yes, vaccines are helping. I understand a lot of people don't want to get it because they're worried about the after effects, the symptoms, and I completely understand. Businesses are opening up. This is a good thing. Some are saying because this is all because of the vaccine and because people are getting these checks that they can actually go and spend the money, which is actually leading to a ramp up of this recovery, which is great. We also know warmer weather is helping keep case counts down, which means people are more likely to travel. People are more likely to go to restaurants, go hang out with friends and family and all those good things. And we also know lawmakers are currently discussing the next round of stimulus to put into the American Jobs Plan. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now. I want to break down some bigger things that are happening today. Here's what we know. We know now that the stimulus that is going out to the American people, there is going to be more that is coming. It's not over. We haven't seen the last of the stimulus checks. There's going to be more. We just don't know to what extent. We don't know when. We don't know how much, and we don't know who will receive it. Those are a bunch of big questions, which pretty much means we pretty much know nothing other than the fact that more is coming, which is why I put that in the title. More stimulus is coming. As to what extent, we're still wondering that ourselves. For the longest time, it was only progressives. Bernie Sanders. It was Rashida Tlaib. There's so many more, but I'll just leave it at that. Ilhan Omar. I can go on, but there were so many progressives that were pushing for additional stimulus checks. They wanted to see it at $2,000 per month. Well, now Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, he's stepping in and saying, yes, we need more. We need more stimulus. He initially was very quiet. Nancy Pelosi hasn't really said anything, right? The issue is when progressives, especially some that are middle of the road, congressmen and women, right? Bernie Sanders, he's pretty, in depth. He's been in Senate for a little while. He has a pretty good place. He's a senior Democratic leader, or not really leader, but in some cases, some people look at him as a leader. Well, what we know is that right now, the junior congressmen and women, they don't have a huge say. But when Chuck Schumer gets behind somebody and says, yes, we want to see additional stimulus. We want to see an additional check. We want to see student loan forgiveness. That's where we know it's going to happen. When Chuck Schumer says something is going to get done, chances are it will get done, especially when he is the Senate Majority Leader. If things were flip-flopped and it was Mitch McConnell as the Senate Majority Leader and Chuck Schumer comes out and says, yes, we're going to get this done, I'd say, no, we can't really believe him because he doesn't really have much power in the Senate. Now, he has all the power in the world. So things get a little different. He also says he wants to see another budget reconciliation, but in order to get another stimulus check passed, we need to see one additional budget reconciliation. Some experts currently say that if Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer can get another budget reconciliation this year, then we will see an additional stimulus check this year. If he can't, chances are we'll have to wait and see additional stimulus later, which would most likely be in 2022. What we know is that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, he wants to see an additional stimulus check. He wants to see an extension on unemployment benefits past the September 6th deadline. He would like to see it probably for all of 2021, according to a couple of reports. There hasn't been an exact statement from Chuck Schumer on this, though, so that is something that is more of a probable thing. He also wants to see a permanent extension to the child tax credit. He doesn't want to just see this go for one additional year, where parents, instead of getting $3,000 just in 2021, they get $3,000 this year, $3,000 next year. He wants to see this $3,000 every single year leading up clear until the future. That's what he wants. He also wants student loan forgiveness, and he would like to see an increase in the minimum wage provision. What I can tell you right now, the child tax credit will be extended. This is something that is not just a priority for Democrats or progressives mainly, but it's also a priority for some Republicans. This does have bipartisan support, and that's the good thing there, is we are probably going to see this put into law as this is a normal thing, not just okay, let's do it for the first year, second year. Let's get this done for the next 5, 10 years. Let's put it in there, a permanent fixture into this bill. We could see that. Now, the minimum wage provision, chances are it will not be included because it doesn't meet the needs or it doesn't meet the requirements of the Senate's rules, and that's a big issue. But that might not make a huge difference to some Democrats because they say if an additional stimulus check is included, then maybe the additional wages aren't so needed. But what currently is proposed is a $2,000 per month stimulus check. I've said this for the past couple of weeks. I will continue to say it. I just don't think a $2,000 per month stimulus check will be included into the next bill. Could I see a $2,000 stimulus check? Yes. Not a monthly recurring check. I don't see that happening at this point because it would be very, very expensive. But could I see up to $2,000 as a one-time payment to the hardest hit individuals? Yes, I could. And that is something that many experts are saying they can see this easily be put into the next bill. They don't see why people would have any opposition towards this unless it is going to every single American eligible or out there. But if it's just to the eligible people that are the lower income, maybe make under $50,000 per year as an individual, under $100,000 as a couple, those are the people that are currently being looked at as, all right, you need the most help. Let's go and provide you this additional relief. I don't think Joe Manchin or Kyrsten Sinema would oppose this. And those are the two question marks in the Senate at this time. But the problem we're having right now, and this goes way beyond just the stimulus checks. This goes way beyond just the child tax credit. Goes way beyond just the minimum wage provision. The problem right now is that there aren't 50 votes currently in the Senate that support the American Jobs Plan that President Biden has proposed. This is the $2.25 trillion stimulus or infrastructure bill that President Biden has proposed. This is what he talked about last Wednesday. The issue is there's not 50 people in the Senate that currently support this. There's not. They were expecting 50 because they also include Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. The problem is Joe Manchin came out today, and I believe Kyrsten Sinema is probably pretty close to where Joe Manchin is, but Joe Manchin said flat out he opposes the infrastructure bill because he doesn't agree with the corporate tax hikes to raise it from 21% up to 28%. He doesn't think that is right. He doesn't think that would work. He states that going from 21% up to 25% and closing tax loopholes that many wealthy individuals and businesses are currently using, that is the best way to go. And this could be the best that President Biden and the Biden administration gets from moderate Democrats. Right now, President Biden wants to go from 21 to 28%. Some say that's too high. It's too quick. And this is exactly what Democrats have been saying as far as the minimum wage is. Republicans are saying, well, let's go from $7.25 up to like $8.50. Let's go to $8. Let's just give them a quick 75-cent raise. And then Democrats are like, no, it's not fast enough. It needs to happen quicker. And then some Republicans are saying that, well, Democrats want to go from $7.25 all the way up to $9.50 immediately. Well, that's too fast. And Democrats come back with this and say, well, there's nothing that is too quick. There's nothing that is too quick. It should happen fast, happen immediately. Well, the issue is now, some Democrats are saying that no, going from 21 to 28% on a corporate tax hike, that's too fast. We need to slowly get there. Which again, now some Democrats are using the exact same fight that the Republicans were using against them and they were using against Republicans. They're now using against themselves. So it's creating a whole big headache right now. Now, here's what some experts are saying. Some experts are calling for this bill to get passed sooner rather than later. But the issue there is that there is no set timeline as to when this bill should pass. If you remember back when we passed the $1.9 trillion stimulus package, when that got passed, the reason it got passed when it did was because it was just days before the March 14th unemployment or the expiration of the unemployment benefits. Well, what is the next expiration that's coming up? What is it? Is there something in April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December? When's the next expiration? Well, the next expiration is technically September 6th. That is when the current unemployment boost would expire. That is when the unemployment benefits would run out. That is when some are saying this should be the official date of when this infrastructure bill must pass. If, and only if, Democrats plan on putting some stimulus into this bill, which is exactly what many Democrats are fighting for. They say, let's put additional stimulus into this bill to provide for a better and more sustainable economic recovery. Because just because we're recovering now, things are going up, they're looking good, all of a sudden we could come crashing right back down. We know this. We've seen it happen before, and it can't happen again. So, right now, some are saying that the September 6th date is the most pressing date, and that must pass. We must get this bill done by then. The only thing is, some lawmakers are looking at this bill and saying that it needs to pass much sooner than that because they go on recess for pretty much all of August, and they don't want to come back and within the first week try to pass this mega infrastructure bill. Because chances are, what's going to happen is lawmakers will not be able to go on recess. They will have to stay in Washington, have to debate this bill, and then pass it, and then they can go on recess and use whatever time they have left. This is one of the reasons why some are arguing that any additional benefits, any additional stimulus relief has to come before lawmakers go on recess in August. So we will see. But what we are seeing is that this next infrastructure bill can take a while to negotiate. These updates that I'm providing you right now, this could just be the beginning. This could just be the start. Remember, we've been talking about stimulus for over a year. It was a year ago right around a year ago when I made a video talking about stimulus, talking about how you get it, talking about when it's coming, what's there for you. It's been a year. A year. That's a long time. But what we know right now is a few economists are saying that this bill can't take too long because the relief at this point is already drying out. Here's what we know. And for instance, the $28.6 billion that was set aside as stimulus for restaurants. This is what Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer really pushed for. Well, this is going very quickly. Individual restaurants can get up to $5 million each. If you have a group of restaurants, you can get up to $10 million. Well, this money is going to go out very quickly. Right now, some are saying that once it's gone, it will be gone. This will be a tough bill to get put in. This will be a tough provision to get put into the next bill because restaurants know what to expect. Restaurants know do not hire too many people. Restaurants know what could happen if the case counts increase. The money right now is currently being used to get back employees, to pay for products, to pay for services, to pay for food, any of their ingredients that they use. And the chance of some restaurants making it through this pandemic, it all stems off of, can they get this funding? Is there PPP funding for them? Okay. This fund, this is a grant. This $5 million, $10 million, this is a grant that they can use. This doesn't have to be paid back according to recent reports. So that's a good thing. So this could be used for a lot of businesses. This could really help them dig themselves out of this hole. But we'll see. But another group that is getting hit pretty hard right now, and this is actually a different type of story. It's odd, but this is currently what's happening. So over the past few days, many airlines have had to just cancel flights. And it's not because they don't have the amount of people, they don't have the customers, they don't have any flyers. It's not because of that. It's not because of case counts are shooting up amongst their employees. That's not the case. It is because they have let too many employees go, and those employees have yet to return to work. It's a big issue. And then some airlines are saying that the reason why employees are not coming back is because of one of President Biden's provisions where he allowed anybody to go on unemployment and collect the $300 per week as an unemployment boost on top of their state benefits simply because they do not feel safe to come back to work. That is one of the provisions that he actually did when he first took office. Many workers have yet to return to the workforce, and this is causing too many businesses to struggle because they don't have the workers to handle the influx in returning customers, which is exactly what happened to Delta Airlines just over the past few days. a lot of people were flying because of, spring break, because of Easter weekend. So what happened was a lot of airlines, especially United or Delta, had to cancel some of their flights because they didn't have the personnel to actually take care of that amount of customers. Again, it's a big issue, but this is something that we never thought was going to happen, is that, okay, all the airlines let employees go, but then they struggle to get them back because they're technically making just as much or more money staying at home than getting on an airplane and flying, across the United States or around the world. So some are like, why would I go back to work when I can stay on unemployment for this amount of weeks, this many weeks, and I'll be perfectly fine? That's true. And it makes people wonder, well, is President Biden ever going to change this? Some say no, that he is going to let this run out when unemployment expires on September 6th. That is when all this stuff will kind of go back to normal. So in September, we could see a huge influx in there's too many workers for the amount of people that are actually flying, too many workers for the amount of people that are going to restaurants, so on and so forth. This goes into hospitality and the hotel industry as well. So keep that in mind. But many experts do believe that the government is trying to step up and do different things. However, some say right now that there are other issues that currently need to be talked about and currently need to be discussed that President Biden and the Biden administration is pretty much staying quiet on. And Dr. Anthony Fauci, he actually talked about this earlier today, and this was the vaccine passports. Dr. Fauci said he could see individual businesses start using these, but he stated the federal government would not be the leading supporter behind these. And many experts believe the reason for this is actually because the government won't want to do this close to an election. Okay? Even though the election's over a year away, the midterm election in 2022 is over a year away, some are saying that no, it's still too close. That Democrats, if they were to push forward with this, Republicans would eat their lunch. They would eat this up, and they would use this as a way to get back into the driver's seat in the House and the Senate. And so that's one of the things that Democrats just can't afford. So don't expect a mandatory thing in all states. Don't expect a vaccine passport to be used in every single state. Florida, their governor was Ron DeSantis. He's already stated, and he's already done an executive order banning a vaccine passport for the state of Florida. That's for, as far as federal property, that's different. That obviously takes precedent over local and state. But when it comes to local businesses, a business cannot mandate you have a vaccine passport to be able to come into their establishment. That's something that he's already implemented. So we will see. What I can tell you and what I want you to understand is that things are changing. The life that we used to know is changing. It's different. It's never going to be back to that like it once was. Lawmakers are going to continue to fight for what they believe is the best thing for you. Whether you believe it's right or wrong, they will continue to fight. And what I can tell you is right now, the good thing is that we are seeing people discuss stimulus. We are seeing people discuss infrastructure, and they are openly discussing this. This isn't behind closed doors. Even Kevin McCarthy, okay, the House minority leader from the Republican side, he came out today and said that things are not the way they used to be. Before, a bill would go, be proposed to the House, and the bill would actually go to the committees, and the committees would discuss this. They'd work it out, and they'd decide, okay, do we support this? Should we make some modifications? What do we need to do? And then if everyone agreed, okay, let's push it to the floor of the House, it would go to the floor of the House. And Nancy Pelosi was just the speaker. But now it seems like, okay, everything is, does Nancy Pelosi support this? If she does, push it straight to the floor. It's not even go to committee. And that's creating other issues. And so this is where some people are saying right now, lawmakers are continue to fight because it's all, very partisan. It's, okay, I'm Republican, I have to vote the Republican side. I'm Democrat, I have to vote for the Democratic side, the Democratic provision, Democratic policies. That's not the case. It can be mixed. Even if you're a Republican, you should be able to have support from your colleagues to be able to vote for a Democratic bill if you think that is what the American people need. And vice versa. If a Democrat wants to vote for a Republican bill, great, vote for it. But that's not what's happening right now, and that's what's causing a lot of division and divisiveness within Congress. And that's one of the things we are waiting for an end. But who knows when that's ever going to happen. So What I can tell you right now is as we know more, I promise I will share more. There's a lot going on. I will try to break it down as easily and hopefully you can understand exactly what's going on. Sometimes I'm not great with words. I'm trying to get better at that. I just want to thank you guys for always listening, helping me out, giving me constructive criticism as well. I completely I accept it. And I try to learn from it. So again, I just want to thank you guys for always doing that. But as of right now, that's all we know. As I know more, I promise I will share more. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.